I was framed by a colleague at the hospital, branded with infamy and thrown into prison. And the one who framed me was none other than the woman I loved most. She not only ruined my reputation, leaving me in disgrace, turned me into a quack doctor cursed by all, but also had my legs broken, leading to my tragic death in jail. Yet she showed not a shred of remorse. Instead, she turned her back, falling into the arms of that junior tycoon. They lived freely, indulging themselves, not only taking over my large bed, but also brazenly stealing my medical achievements. But after my wretched death, I didn't vanish. I became a lingering soul haunting her side. To my shock, this despicable pair who caused my death didn't stop. They relentlessly slandered me, trampling on my blood and flesh to climb higher, until I saw them hand in hand walking into their wedding ceremony. The towering hatred within me could no longer be contained. I wanted to tear this vile couple apart on the spot. But in the next moment, I was reborn, returned to the day Shi Liu Nain, and Taikon conspired to frame me. At this moment, I was on an ambulance bandaging a patient's wound. Outside the ambulance was the horrific scene of a multi-vehicle accident. Liu Nain's face was grim. The patient had blood flowing back into their lungs, requiring immediate chest aspiration. Traffic was still jammed, no way to get to the hospital in time. Get me the aspiration needle. Taikon, the newly graduated junior, eagerly stepped forward. Senior sister, let me do it. I just learned how. He swaggered forward, pushing me aside as I bandaged the patient. I stumbled and Liu Nain hesitated, saying to her junior, "This patient has a special status. If something goes wrong, it'll be big trouble. Let me handle it." Liu Nain and I had been in love for 3 years. Both of us were the top students in our class, but in the past I willingly played the supporting role to Liu Nain. So even now, everyone only saw Liu Nain as the brilliant medical genius, young and already a deputy director. Dangerous surgeries were by default handed to her. This time the patient was the famous actress Lam Misi Dao, renowned for her outstanding performances. Her beauty likened to a character from a film. Seductive yet pure, she had a massive fan base nationwide. Moreover, her family background was extraordinary. Rumor had it the Lam family wielded immense power, controlling both the underworld and legitimate circles. Saving the Lam family's eldest daughter this time was akin to earning a favor from the Lam family. Taikon's eagerness was merely to seize this chance to climb higher. "Oh, senior sister," Taikon hurriedly said. "Aren't you here? You can guide me from the side." "All right," Liu Nain hesitated for a second before nodding. Despite the urgency, chest aspiration wasn't too difficult. "Come here." "Thank you, senior sister." Taikon rushed forward. The patient's lungs had fluid buildup, using a needle for aspiration to drain it. That was the chest aspiration procedure. "Have you thought it through?" I suddenly spoke up. "Though the risk isn't high, for a fresh graduate like you, a slight mistake could put the patient in greater danger. In my previous life, I had warned them too, but both ignored me outright. Back then, seeing I couldn't persuade them, and thinking Liu Nain was there, nothing would go wrong, I left to tend to other patients." After the chest aspiration, Taikon's face was covered in blood. Panic-stricken, his expression filled with horror. Liu Nain was busy comforting him, then told me to go with the ambulance to the hospital for treatment first. But when we returned, something went wrong with the patient. Due to Taikon's error during the aspiration, the patient developed a pneumothorax, and he failed to report the abnormality in time. The patient missed the critical window for treatment, and ultimately didn't survive. Such a foolish medical mistake. And the one who died was the famous actress Lam Misi Dao. The Lam family immediately applied pressure. Lam Misi Dao's fans blocked the hospital entrance, demanding the hospital provide a satisfactory explanation. Back then, naively, I still tried to plead for Taikon, but both of them in unison claimed I was the one who performed the chest aspiration. They repeatedly insisted they had tried to stop me, saying I wanted to show off my skills and curry favor with the Lam family. That's why I insisted on doing the procedure, even on the ambulance. The nurse and driver testified that I did it. What a coincidence! The ambulance's camera was broken, leaving me no way to defend myself. The evidence was overwhelming. I became the quack doctor everyone cursed. Not only was I fired from the hospital, but I was also struck off the medical registry. After that, Lam Macy Dao's rabid fans broke both my legs. Then the Lam family sued me and I received a heavy sentence. Even worse, the Lam family bribed me to kill me in prison, all to avenge Lam Macy Dao. My ashes were scattered on the streets by her fans, cursing me to be forever run over by vehicles. My soul shattered. After my tragic death, as a lingering spirit, I followed Liu Nai, watching her and Techcombank steal the medical achievements I had worked for in life. After publishing in journals, Techcombank suddenly became a medical genius on par with Liu Nai. I watched them walk into their wedding ceremony, envied by all. Techcombank gently embraced Liu Nai, smiling brightly, saying, "Wife, Diepsi Einstein is finally dead. If he had survived, I'd always feel a thorn in my heart." Liu Nai smiled tenderly, her hand caressing Techcombank's fair, handsome face. "Today is our big day. Let's not mention that unlucky thing. From now on, you must love me for life." My heart ached as if stabbed by knives. This despicable pair not only killed me, but trampled on my blood and flesh to climb higher. I only wanted to kill them. My thoughts snapped back as Techcombank sought to shine. Just like in my previous life, my warnings went unheeded. Liu Nai glanced at me indifferently. "What's there to fear? Let Techcombank practice a bit, it's good for him. In here nothing will go wrong. Besides, Techcombank is so smart. Unlike you, even though I'm your girlfriend, you clearly lack his potential." How laughable. She didn't hesitate to belittle me to uplift Techcombank. I concealed the coldness in my eyes, smirking lightly. I'm only thinking of the patient's safety. If Techcombank makes a mistake and the patient dies, what then? Techcombank frowned. "Senior, how can you say that? I'm a properly graduated student, an outstanding graduate from a prestigious school." Liu Nai looked at me, her eyes filled with disdain. "Don't bully the newcomer just because you have a few years' experience. Instead of targeting your junior, go treat a few more patients." The nurse also spoke up in their defense. "Dr. Diep, just let Techcombank try. With Sister Liu here, nothing will go wrong." In the hospital, for some reason, everyone held Liu Nai in high regard. When she spoke, even the director didn't dare contradict her. Plus, Liu Nai was beautiful and well-connected, so it wasn't surprising they sided with her. Fine, I nodded. Just like in my previous life, I went to bandage other patients. Techcombank smugly shouted at me, "Senior, instead of playing mind games, why not work on improving yourself? You graduated the same year as our senior sister, yet you're still just an ordinary doctor. Techcombank, come here." Liu Nai cut him off, gesturing, "Don't waste words on him. Come do the chest aspiration for the patient first." She guided Techcombank on adjusting posture and position, saying seriously, "You're different from him. In less than 2 years, you'll surpass Diepsi Einstein's skills. Being a resident doctor is already his peak." I listened expressionlessly as Liu Nai belittled me. My classmate from university, my lover of 3 years. We had even started discussing marriage. Yet now she only wanted to crush me into the dirt. In my previous life, I always wondered if I was inferior to Techcombank in some way. Now thinking back, even from the early days of our relationship, she always mentioned Techcombank intentionally or not. This lively, charming junior, her eyes sparkled with a smile whenever she spoke of him. After Techcombank joined our hospital, Liu Nai openly favored him, publicly trampling me to lift him up. Back then, I comforted myself, thinking it was just care for a junior. But looking back now, Liu Nai never loved me. So how could she care about my feelings? I pretended to rest nearby, using my elbow to hide my phone, revealing the camera, silently recording the scene in the ambulance. Because it was a multi-vehicle accident, the entire road was in chaos. As soon as our ambulance arrived, another rear-end collision happened behind us. Traffic police were trying to clear the way. The patients beside me, aside from Lam Macy Dao, only had minor injuries, already handled with emergency care. The nurse was cleaning the windows, so no one noticed my subtle actions. Liu Na-in and Taikon were treating the patient in the ambulance, yet they were all smiles, flirting openly. Those who knew might think they were in love. Now I understood why in my previous life, despite Liu Na-in's presence, Taikon made such a basic mistake. Their minds weren't on the patient at all. Poor Lam Mi-si Dao, the actress, only suffered lung hematoma from the crash. With timely treatment, she would have been fine. But she was delayed by that idiot Taikon. I gazed thoughtfully at the scene in the ambulance. Taikon finished the chest aspiration. Due to incorrect posture, blood sprayed out. His face filled with panic. Liu Na-in tenderly patted his head, comforting, "It's okay. Taikon just slipped up. Come, let me wipe it for you." Just then the road ahead cleared. Liu Na-in helped Taikon off the ambulance, then turned to order me Dipe Sienstein. "Get on the ambulance and go with the patient to the hospital first." I didn't object, silently pocketing my phone and boarding the ambulance. Back at the hospital, due to the multi-vehicle accident, everyone was busy beyond measure. It wasn't until nearly 10 at night that I could sit down, planning to order takeout. A lunchbox was placed in front of me. "Master, you've been so busy today. You probably haven't eaten right." It was HVIVI, one of the new students this year. Each newbie was assigned a senior doctor to mentor. Liu Na-in volunteered to guide Taikon. HVIVI was assigned to me by the hospital. Her round face was fair, clean, youthful, and adorable. Opening the box, to meat dishes to vegetable dishes, very hearty. I felt warmed. "Thank you." HVIVI grinned, "No big deal. I saved it for you from the hospital cafeteria this afternoon. With such a big accident today, I knew you wouldn't have time to eat." As I was about to eat, I saw Taikon walk in with Liu Na-in. Taikon immediately spoke up, "Senior Dipe, you're impressive. Everyone's starving and hasn't eaten, yet you've got someone specially saving food for you. Quite the charm." He chuckled lightly, deliberately raising his voice. "VIVI here, bringing you food and drinks every few days. A young junior and a cold senior, what a match. You two aren't actually a thing, are you?" Everyone immediately looked over with strange expression. In the hospital, who didn't know Liu Na-in was my girlfriend? HVIV's face turned red. "Taikon, don't talk nonsense. My master works so hard mentoring me. Seeing him tired, what's wrong with saving food for him?" Taikon sneered, "Oh, who knows if you're just grateful or trying to cling to your senior's coattails." I waved my hand. "It's fine, VIVI, ignore him. Some people live off filthy gossip, so they're overly sensitive. Their minds are dirtier than a sewer." Taikon's face turned red with anger. Liu Na-in, standing beside him, immediately darkened, coldly staring at me. "Dipe Sienstein, since when did you become so sharp-tinged? Learned it from the girl beside you." I calmly replied, "Just joking. Doesn't your junior love joking the most?" Before, Taikon often publicly mocked and slandered me, then played the victim, saying it was just a joke. Now the tables turned and Taikon was fuming. Suddenly he clutched his forehead, staggering a few steps. Liu Na-in hurriedly supported him, worried. "Taikon, what's wrong then?" she snapped at me. "Dipe Sienstein, don't you know Taikon's health is weak? You upset him, apologize now." Infine. Taikon waved weakly. "Senior sister, I'm just a bit tired. I've always had low blood sugar." Liu Na-in stepped forward, reaching for the lunchbox on my table. "Taikon's having a low blood sugar episode. Give your food to him first. You can buy more." Her overbearing attitude made me laugh in anger. I wasn't going to indulge her. Immediately closing the lunchbox and holding it close. Why should I give it to him? Haven't I been starving all night too? Liu Na-in, people might think you're Taikon's girlfriend, protecting him like that. Liu Na-in's frown deepened. "Don't mock me. Taikon and I aren't as filthy as you think. You're a veteran, used to staying up late and going hungry. What's wrong with giving it to a newcomer? Hand over the food." I frowned, clutching the lunchbox and standing up. "Get lost." That single word made Liu Na-in's face darken, as if dripping with water. She angrily shouted, "Dipe Sienstein, I'm your superior. I order you to give the food to Taikon." When moral coercion failed, she resorted to openly pressuring me. I still didn't care. Taikon played the victim again. It's fine, senior sister. We won't argue with him. That's food from his little lover. I wouldn't eat that scum stuff. I gritted my teeth in rage. Just then, the director suddenly burst in flustered. Who's in charge of patient bed number to Lam Misi Dao? Come here, Liu Na-in, and Taikon's faces changed, hurrying to follow. Lam Misi Dao suddenly went into cardiac arrest. Her condition critical. The entire emergency department was in chaos. I leisurely sat eating my meal nearby. Sure enough, everything unfolded just like in my previous life. The director, with his vast experience, immediately noticed Lam Misi Dao had undergone chest aspiration, but due to a procedural error, it caused a pneumothorax, leading to cardiac arrest. He roared in anger, "Are you all eating dry rice?" During the chest aspiration, you didn't even know the basic rule of preventing air intrusion. Everyone get to the meeting now. Now somehow, news of Lam Misi Dao's critical condition leaked. The internet exploded with outrage, accusing our hospital of disregarding lives, treating patients recklessly. Her fans blocked the hospital entrance, demanding to see their sister. The Lam family sent someone too, a man in a suit, wearing gold-rimmed glasses looking like a lawyer, threatening, "If anything happens to our young miss, your hospital can forget about staying open." The hospital president was scared stiff, immediately calling the director, demanding he do everything to perform a second emergency rescue for Lam Misi Dao and find the culprit behind the botched chest aspiration, the one responsible for this mess. If this wasn't handled well, the entire emergency department would be sacked. Even the president wouldn't escape. Over the years, how many of these managers were truly clean? If the lawyer dug deep, they'd all end up in jail sewing clothes. The director immediately called an emergency meeting. The president attended as well, showing the gravity of the situation. As I sat down, I saw in the corner of the room, Liu Na-in patting Taikon's back, comforting him about something. Taikon's eyes were red, looking like he'd just cried. Seeing me enter, both hesitated, glancing at me with deep intent. I knew they were plotting how to pin all the blame on me. I stayed calm, pretending not to notice their odd behavior. HVIVI sat beside me, quietly asking, "Master, who actually did the chest aspiration today on the ambulance bringing Lam Misi Dao?" It was just the three of us. The meeting room buzzed with whispers. It definitely wasn't Deputy Director Liu. She wouldn't make such a basic mistake. Diepsy Einstein's been in the hospital over 2 years, Hayes experienced. So it could only be Taikon. I think it's him too. Lam Misi Dao's mistake looks like it was caused by someone inexperienced. Even though Hayes been interning for months, and guided by Liu Na-in, Hayes still so incompetent. Come on, everyone knows Taikon's internship reports were all handled by Liu Na-in. He once prescribed the wrong medication, nearly killing a patient. This kind of person as a doctor is terrifying. People weren't fools. With a bit of thought, it was clear this was almost certainly Taikon's doing. That incompetent fool. I knew. Taikon's worst antics were yet to come. The director coldly stared at him. "Taikon, did you do the chest aspiration?" Taikon immediately sobbed, "I know. Everyone doubts my skills, thinking every mistake is my fault." At the scene, I did say, I wanted to try the chest aspiration, but Senior Sister Liu, after assessing the situation, saw I lacked experience and advised me to give up. He suddenly pointed at me. It was him. This chest aspiration was done by Diepsy Einstein. Hearing him dare to frame me like that, I was furious, my face red, standing up to confront him. Now, of course, I wasn't so impulsive. I just looked at Taikon in surprise. "What are you saying? Wasn't it you who did the chest aspiration? You even said you just learned the technique, excited to try it out. I warned you it wasn't safe, but our Deputy Director Liu swore with her there nothing would go wrong. In the end, you pulled out the needle. Blood splattered all over your face. And then you had me go back alone. How can you lie so shamelessly? Liu Na-in, don't you have anything to say?" I deliberately looked at Liu Na-in. At the time, besides the nurse and driver on the ambulance, who witnessed everything, Liu Na-in looked up at me, her expression cold and resolute. Even though I'm your girlfriend, don't expect me to cover for you. Deib Einstein, you did the chest aspiration. Own up to it. The room erupted in chatter. Liu Na-in continued to throw dirt on me. After stopping Taikon, I was supposed to do the procedure. But then, Deib Einstein volunteered to do it. I saw his skills weren't as good as mine, so I advised him to stop. But he said, a chance to cozy up to the Lam family was rare, asking me as his girlfriend to give him this opportunity. At this point, Liu Na-in sighed heavily, in partly to blame. I shouldn't have listened to him. Since the road had cleared, he went ahead with the nurse on the ambulance, performing the chest aspiration. I didn't expect a doctor with 2 years of emergency experience would make such a foolish mistake. Liu Na-in spoke with conviction, even blaming herself a bit. This was exactly how they framed me. The logic was seamless. In my previous life, I was furious, confronting Liu Na-in on the spot, asking why she treated me this way. Did she ever love me? But she just sneered, telling me not to play the emotional card. My pleas. My collapse didn't stir an ounce of her conscience. I looked at her with deep resentment, my heart aching with hatred. I gave a faint, emotionless smile. Oh, 3 years of love, and the one I loved turns out to be a beast in human skin. Then check the camera footage. Taikon sneered, what a coincidence. The camera is broken. We even suspect you tampered with it. Liu Na-in also looked at me. The camera is broken, so you could pin the blame on Taikon, right? You're truly vicious. Absolutely despicable. The president slammed the table in anger, his eyes glaring at me. Deib Einstein, I didn't expect you to be such an opportunist. I glanced at him. Even the president was so biased. No wonder Liu Na-in was so pampered in the hospital. Moreover, only a few people had access to the ambulance's camera recordings. The director was busy in the emergency department all morning. The 2 vice presidents were attending a training course, leaving the president as the most likely suspect. I spoke calmly. Why rush? Don't I have witnesses? Where are the driver and nurse who were on the ambulance? Fine, let you humiliate yourself. Taikon's face lit up with excitement. As expected, their testimonies were identical to my previous life, both claiming I did the chest aspiration, even saying Liu Na-in and Taikon never got near Lam Misi Dao. The entire procedure was done by me alone. I coldly stared at them. They guiltily avoided my gaze. I couldn't help but want to laugh. So many people jumping out to slander me. They really put in a lot of effort. Well then, let them face the consequences of their lies together. What do you have to say now? Liu Na-in shouted loudly. I never expected after 3 years together, you'd be this kind of person. Other colleagues, even my student HVIVI, looked at me with strange eyes, being isolated and betrayed. This was the feeling I endured in my previous life. Call the police, the president roared. Get the police and the Lam family here. We've found the culprit. This kind of quack who deliberately harms people doesn't deserve to stay in our hospital. He must pay the price. Pushing me out as a scapegoat. They were naturally safe, but I remained calm, not the least bit panicked. Go ahead and make a fuss, the bigger the better. It's bad. A nurse rushed and panicked. Patient Lam Misi Dao is in cardiac arrest, under emergency care, but due to the crash injuries and excessive bleeding from the prior chest aspiration, she's critically low on blood and in cardiac arrest. She's in grave danger. Hurry, go save her. The director stood up frantically. Kim Trick, get over here. Kim Trick stepped forward, not forgetting to give me a cold glance. Deib Einstein, I'm truly disappointed in you. Disappointed my foot. I just wanted to kick him dead. The face I once loved most now only filled me with disgust. The crowd had no time to keep berating me, because if Lam Misi Dao died, the entire hospital would be torn apart by her fans and family. The president led the rush to the ICU. Kim Track's face was grim. No, good director. We urgently need enough plasma. But there's no time. Sudden blood loss plus cardiac arrest. It's over, it's over. The director's face was ashen. Notify the family. We've done all we could. It was too late when we found out. Taikon suddenly pointed at me shouting, "It's because you botched the procedure and hid it. You killed her." The president coldly stared at me deep inch. Wait for the police investigation. You don't deserve to be a doctor anymore. You quack. Other colleagues gave me icy looks, as if I were an unforgivable sinner. The Lam family's lawyer, hearing the news, arrived. Deep inch, you're suspected of killing our actress. Prepared to receive a lawsuit from the Lam family. Just then, a frantic voice came from outside. Move aside, the plasma's here. Hurry, save her now. It was a colleague from the emergency department. R.S.Nay. She looked bewildered at the crowded room. Please, this is the ICU. What are you all doing here? Get out, the plasma for the actress is here. Hurry, the patient's low on blood. If we don't act now, it'll be dangerous. The crowd shuffled out, still reeling from the shock. Liu Nain froze, staring blankly at Taikon beside her. Senior sister, did you order the plasma? No, Liu Nain replied stiffly. I haven't even checked with the blood bank. How could the plasma arrive so fast? And how could it be this quick? She frowned. But either way, with enough plasma, the patient will pass the critical stage. But Liu Nain coldly pointed at me. Don't think you're off the hook just because you're behind this. You still don't deserve to be a doctor. Prepare to pack up and leave the hospital. Seeing the plasma delivered, the last worrying in my heart lifted. Now I had nothing left to fear. Moreover, all the scum who framed me were here. No rush, I smiled. The ambulance camera may be broken, but my phone's isn't. I only meant to record the proud moment of our junior's first chest aspiration. Who knew it'd be such a coincidence? Saving crucial evidence for myself. With that, I played the video on my phone, handing it to the Lam family's lawyer. One look and the lawyer's face paled. Everyone around was stunned. On the screen, the two of them gazed at each other lovingly, flirting sweetly, while carelessly performing the chest aspiration. It was Liu Nain and Taikon. Liu Nain held Taikon's hand, both smiling as they adjusted position and posture. If not explained, who'd guess they were performing emergency care? Taikon even deliberately told jokes, trying to amuse Liu Nain. She laughed so hard she trembled, her mind no longer on the patient before her. It was clear to see, due to their negligence, the moment the needle went off position, when it was pulled out, blood splattered Taikon's face. He stood up in panic, screaming in fear. Liu Nain was busy comforting him. The nurse on the ambulance was busy wiping the blood with gauze. The three idiots all forgot to suture Lam Misi Dao first. That's when air entered, causing the pneumothorax. I calmly looked at Liu Nain, her face contorted, and Taikon. I didn't want to be so ruthless, but Liu Nain, after 3 years together, not only cheated on me, but conspired with Taikon to destroy me. Saying those things, doesn't your conscience ache? At this, my eyes reddened. After all, these were genuine emotions. This wretched woman truly wasted my youth and love. As a doctor, you should have been saving the patient. Yet you were busy flirting. Utterly insane. And you? I looked at the nurse and driver. Their expressions now, as if they'd swallowed a fly. Utterly uncomfortable. I don't know why you lied for them, but now the truth is clear. Don't I deserve an apology? The nurse softly spoke. I really saw you doing the chest aspiration on the ambulance. I sneered. That was the second aspiration. I had to clean up after the one who screwed up. As soon as I got on the ambulance, I noticed the pneumothorax was severe, so I did a second aspiration to remove most of the air. Otherwise, how could Lam Misi Dao have lasted this long? I gave a bitter smile. I didn't want to reveal this, because if it got out, it could ruin Liu Nain's career. 3 years. I thought I'd leave her some dignity, but she brought this shame upon herself. The room fell silent for a second. Then the colleagues exploded. My God, so that's the truth. Deep inch is too pitiful. His girlfriend cheated fine, but he had to clean up her mess. These two are truly vile. If Deep inch hadn't recorded it by chance, no amount of explaining would have cleared him. Liu Nain usually acts so righteous. Turns out she's this disgusting, even harming her own boyfriend. Tycon's just as revolting. Some innocent little puppy. His heart's filthier than anyone's. The tide of opinion fully turned in my favor. I looked at the president and director. Now, if cleared my name right. If I hadn't done the second aspiration, Miss Lam wouldn't have survived this long. Yet they framed me like this. President Director. I'm truly heartbroken. With that, I deliberately rubbed my teary eyes. Who doesn't know how to play the victim? Tong Thien hurriedly apologized. Master, I'm sorry. I thought you were at fault. I shook my head, choking. I only hope the hospital will give me justice and punish Taikon and Liu Na-in severely. The president and director exchanged glances. The president spoke stiffly to Dipe. Calm down, I know you've been wronged. Well, investigate further and give you a result. Fine, let the police investigate. The Lam family's lawyer was livid. You made a mistake and dared to frame someone else. This won't be overlooked. Prepare to receive a court summons. Mr. Dipe, I'm very sorry. I'll clear this up with the public and give you justice. Before, when the room concluded I was the quack, someone had leaked the news, and in an instant, I was cursed across the internet. Countless people demanding I pay with my life for Lam Misi Dao. If I stepped outside now, I'd surely be torn apart by her fans. Like in my previous life, the leaker without a doubt was Taikon and Liu Na-in. Liu Na-in's eyes flickered. She suddenly sneered. If you did a second aspiration, maybe it was your aspiration that caused the pneumothorax. You have a video, so what? The video doesn't show whether the patient had a pneumothorax. I trust the hospital leadership will give me a fair and transparent result. Taikon, as if grasping a lifeline, hurriedly said, I trust senior sister. The position she guided me to couldn't be wrong. The blood splatter from pulling the needle was my carelessness. But with her skills, there's no way she could have caused a pneumothorax. Liu Na-in's tongue was sharp indeed, turning black into white. Even now, this despicable pair still covered for each other, protecting one another. Honestly, I somewhat admired these two scumbags. They should be bound together for life. I only chuckled. I forgot to mention, if posted this video online, right or wrong, the internet will judge. As for you two framing me with empty words, I'll sue you in court. With that, I ignored Liu Na-in's dark glare, turning and walking away. From now on, the last mask of pretense between us was completely torn off. The video I posted caused a massive uproar online. Two doctors flirting during an emergency, putting Lam Misi Dao in danger. Though now, thanks to the timely delivery of plasma, she temporarily escaped mortal danger. She was still in the ICU. Her fans blocked the hospital gates, chanting slogans daily, demanding the expulsion of the culprits, Liu Na-in and Taikon, and calling for the police to arrest them for intentional injury, neglecting an emergency for romance. Isn't that intentional harm? I personally saw nothing wrong with it. Under this heavy pressure, Taikon, who performed the entire procedure, was fired to appease public outrage. But Liu Na-in was barely kept on with the excuse she didn't directly touch the patient. The president tried his hardest, taking Liu Na-in to the Lam family to beg for forgiveness, just to quell their anger, and paid a huge compensation. The president's care for Liu Na-in made me suspect they had an illicit relationship. He protected her to an unbelievable degree. Amid the gossip, Lam Misi Dao finally woke up, safely moved out of the ICU. Because of the prior incident, the Lam family appointed me as her attending doctor. Today, I checked Lam Misi Dao's wounds. Miss Lam, you're recovering well. In about 2 weeks, you can be discharged. Her condition had improved greatly. She could even eat an apple with relish. Dr. Dipe. Lam Misi Dao suddenly spoke. I have a question for you. On the ambulance, how did you know my blood type? I froze, looking at her. Lam Misi Dao smiled brightly. That day on the ambulance, I woke up briefly. I heard you call the blood bank, requesting 1,200 cc of type A plasma, specifically demanding it be delivered before 11 p.m. If not for you, I really would have died. How did you know my blood type? I paused for a second, calculating everything. I hadn't expected this girl to be awake then. Now I could only bluff. Looked it up online. Really, Lam Misi Dao looked at me skeptically. What's my zodiac sign? I replied expressionlessly. I really don't know. Lam Misi Dao sighed. I thought you had a secret crush on me. Dr. Dipe, am I not beautiful? You've never smiled at me. I thought you were playing cool to get my attention. Hearing this, I didn't know what to say. Though she was indeed very beautiful, stunning even without makeup, Lam Misi Dao laughed. You saved my life, and I haven't thanked you. What reward do you want? No need to thank me, I cut her off. Your fans have thanked me enough. Online, they've built countless shrines for me. No need for your personal thanks. Miss Lam, you seem full of energy. Let's arrange your discharge next week. Hearing this, Lam Misi Dao immediately flopped onto the bed, moaning, oh doctor, I suddenly feel chest pain. Is it because the needle wound hasn't healed? I quietly left, not wanting to tangle with this money-making actress. Because of this mistake, Taiken's entire history was dug up by netizens. From peeking at girls during military training, to writing love letters to a young teacher, to hitting on his senior sister after joining the hospital. All sorts of shocking details. His address was even found by Lam Misi Dao's fans, getting chased and beaten the moment he stepped outside. Since Lam Misi Dao didn't die this time, he avoided a fate as tragic as mine in my previous life. I thought, after this, he'd be more restrained, no longer as arrogant as before. But to my surprise, I saw him post a status on social media. Taikun smiled broadly for the camera, making a sign, deliberately showing Liu Na-in driving in the background, along with the prominent car logo, a luxury car worth over $2 million, with the caption, in a bad mood. My girlfriend's driving me out to have fun. They were still entangled with each other. I wasn't surprised at all. Scum like them deserve to be bound together. But what shocked me was the car Liu Na-in was driving. Taiken's family background had been thoroughly exposed by netizens. His parents were ordinary workers. No way they could afford that car. In the photo, the car's front had a cute doll hanging, the windows adorned with pink stickers. A rented car wouldn't be decorated like that, so it could only be Liu Na-in's car. But wasn't Liu Na-in's family poor? I froze puzzled. 3 years together, Liu Na-in always said her family was dirt poor. She was a top student, often receiving subsidies at school, occasionally working part-time at the library. For 3 years, the clothes and shoes she wore, even the cosmetics she used, were mostly bought by me. To make her accept them, I lied saying they were cheap online purchases, but they were actually branded items I gritted my teeth to afford. I loved her dearly back then, naturally not wanting her to be looked down on for her appearance. In daily life, I found excuses to pay for things or send her red envelopes. So for 3 years, she barely gave me any gifts, and I wasn't angry, thinking she was financially strained. Just then a call came in. It was Liu Na-in. I frowned, wanting to see what trick she was up to, but to my surprise when I answered, it was Taiken's voice. Senior, his tone brimming with unconcealed smugness. The status I posted was meant for you to see. Did you see it? Don't be so cold when something's up. I'm calling to thank you. Through the phone, I could imagine his triumphant, eyebrow-raised expression. I really have to thank you. If you hadn't framed me, getting me cursed by netizens, beaten by those crazy fans, my senior sister wouldn't have felt sorry and taken me out. Right now, I'm at her place. To be honest with you, senior sister is filthy rich. A mansion worth tens of millions. Countless luxury cars worth millions. Sister Kim told me she hid her identity from you because she thought you were a gold-digging man. If you knew she was rich, you'd cling to her relentlessly, always wary of you. Poor you all these years, thinking she was poorer than you. Laughable. When we get married, well, make sure you sit at the head table. The call ended. My face darkened. So that wretched woman lied to me for 3 years. The real fool was me, not only cuckolded by my girlfriend, but also her personal ATM for 3 years. That money was all I scrimped and saved to give her when I first graduated. To save money, to buy her a decent office outfit, I ate steamed buns and pickles for 2 months. She never once mentioned that she wasn't short on money at all. I instantly felt the past 3 years were like feeding a dog. My expression was complex. Just then, another call came from an unknown number. Died CNH, though I didn't know who it was. The cheerful voice on the other end made me instantly guess. You're saving the actress one room over. Can't you save on phone bills? I called and it rang. Yet you're not the one showing up. I paused for a second, lost in shock earlier. I completely missed the ringing. Come over. It'll show you something interesting. Though skeptical, I went to her room. Lam Mi Si Dao smiled, showing me a photo. I was instantly stunned. In the picture was our hospital president and a young Liu Nain. I had my lawyer dig up some juicy info. Exciting enough, they were father and daughter out of wedlock. Lam Mi Si Dao giggled. I snapped awake, realizing my fleeting suspicion earlier was spot on. No wonder the president went to such lengths to protect Liu Nain. Let's make a deal. Lam Mi Si Dao spoke up. I immediately shook my head. I don't have money. As if I, your lady, am short on cash. Lam Mi Si Dao glared. You're always holed up in the hospital. I almost forgot you're a big actress. After some playful banter, Lam Mi Si Dao waved her hand to get to business. I have enough evidence to prove their illegitimate father-daughter relationship, and even juicier info. Enough to get everyone who framed you fired. But you have to agree to one thing. I frowned. What? Lam Mi Si Dao pouted him. Haven't thought of it yet, we'll talk later. I hesitated for a second, but agreed. After all, I was just a small-time doctor. No match for this heiress resources. If I investigated myself, I'd probably come up empty. Soon a bombshell news broke the internet. The doctor behind the incident, Liu Nain, was the president's illegitimate daughter. Moreover, after the incident, the president went all out to protect her. Everyone knew the president had a loving wife in public and a pair of children. This revelation completely shattered his fake persona. His wife caused a scene daily, demanding a divorce. Soon after, an even bigger scandal erupted. The president, along with several hospital staff, regularly abused their authority, colluding with outside pharmaceutical companies, selling drugs at exorbitant prices. The president, the director, the nurse, and the driver who framed me, along with a few of Liu Nain's lackeys, were all involved. The sums involved were massive. The president, the main culprit, was sacked immediately. All his assets were seized. Moreover, when they checked his chat history, they found he kept two mistresses on the side, hiding tens of millions in assets with them. One of them was Liu Nain's mother. With such a massive scandal breaking, the president's family quickly divorced to cut ties. Awaiting him was the judgment of the law. The others, though less involved, were all sacked too, facing prison terms from a few months to 2 or 3 years. In the blink of an eye, the emergency department lost a slew of doctors. The new president directly promoted me to director. I never expected, after years of grinding, I'd rise to this position this way. After this, to thank Lam Mi Si Dao, I took the initiative to invite her to dinner, even splurging on an expensive restaurant. I arrived early, ordered the food, and boldly chose a bottle of wine worth 35,000. After all, this heiress had refined tastes. While in the hospital, her family's chef brought her meals. Thanking her, I had to show sincerity. As I waited, a familiar figure suddenly appeared at the restaurant's entrance. Chemtrick, somehow finding out where I was, looked haggard, with huge dark circles under her eyes. Seeing me, she rushed over, forcing a smile. Darling, I finally found you. Why aren't you answering my calls? We've broken up. Why should I answer? I coldly reminded her. But Liu Nain hurriedly said, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Can we start over? It'll treat you well. It was Tai Khan who seduced me. It's my fault for not being steadfast. I only smiled and shook my head. Miss Kim am not interested in starting over with you, but if entrusted a lawyer to compile evidence of you and Taikon slandering me, as well as you pretending to be poor, defrauding me of my assets over the years. That constitutes fraud. You and I will only meet in court from now on. Please leave. Liu Nain's face went pale. She muttered, "Darling, I have no money. Don't be so cruel to me, okay?" Her assets had been seized due to the president's case. I knew that, of course. No worries, them go so close to make up for it. I smiled brightly. Liu Nain panicked. "Don't treat me like this, please. Darling, I love you. I really love you." My face darkened. I was about to call the police when someone suddenly kicked her. "Move, don't block my way to my boyfriend." Liu Nain instinctively dodged. Lam Misi Dao, looking annoyed, said, "Hey, handsome, you've got quite the charm. How's this leech still clinging to you?" "You guys." Liu Nain looked at us, her expression growing more desperate. "Great, darling. Can you ask Miss Lam to save me? Lend me some money. I've lost all my assets and my job. Please save me." I was speechless. Honestly, I'd never seen anyone so shameless. Just then, Taikon, looking disheveled, appeared. Seeing me, he charged furiously. "Daibsi and you bastard. You must have made Liu Nain dump me. Didn't you? I'll kill you." But before he could reach me, Liu Nain slapped him hard. "What do you mean by that?" Taikon couldn't believe it. "You dumped me to go back to your ex. I haven't settled the score with you, and you dare hit me? Get lost." Liu Nain screamed. "If it weren't for you, how could I have lost everything? Get out, I never want to see you again." She recklessly blamed him. Taikon lost it, charging at her. "Damn it. When you slept with me, why didn't you say that? Liu Nain, you vile woman." They started fighting. Lam Misi Dao quietly pulled me out of the restaurant. "Sorry about that," I said, a bit embarrassed. "No big deal, let's go somewhere else." Lam Misi Dao smiled unbothered. I suddenly remembered something. Frowning, "Wait, why did you call me your boyfriend? If that crazy woman spreads that, your fans will tear me apart." "Who said that?" Lam Misi Dao grinned, clinging to me. "With my official boyfriend, I'm sure my fans will accept it." "Boyfriend, what? My condition was to date me. Didn't I tell you? When did you say that?" "Whatever, you agreed, so you have to follow through." I burst out laughing, torn between crying and laughing. Who confesses like that? But if I didn't accept such a confession, wouldn't I be too ungrateful? Later, I took Taikon and Liu Nain to court for defamation and fraud. The Lam family's lawyer was brilliant, digging up evidence that the two colluded with the president, helping him bribe numerous people fully involved in the scandal. When the president was arrested, he denied any connection to Liu Nain's. Thankfully, justice prevailed. Now they'd reunite in prison. As for my relationship with Lam Misi Dao, she publicly announced it online. Her fans eventually accepted it, since I was her lifesaver. A year later, I heard Liu Nain couldn't endure the bullying from other inmates and went completely mad. Taikon also died suddenly in prison from illness. Lam Misi Dao told me evidence suggested it was all arranged by the president's ex-wife. She hated them for ruining her lavish life. This news was quite fitting, a perfect wedding gift for me and Lam Misi Dao.